dengan semangat kolaborasi dan sinergi.
Juga udah nyala ya.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Zakat and Wakaf Forum, an international platform dedicated to advancing socio-economic development through the pillars of Zakat and Wakaf. We hope that you had a refreshing break and are ready to dive back into our discussions for the day. We will now proceed to our next station, Plenary Station 3, which is centered on the theme Innovation in Waqf-Based Investment, Driving the Global Initiative Funding Model. Our distinguished panelists to this session are Ms. Dwi Irianti Hadiningya SHMA, Director of Sharia Social Finance at KNIKS, Dr. Rizwan Bakar, Chief Executive Officer of Yayasan Wakaf Malaysia, Mr. Umar Al-Haddad, Executive Director of EQ8 Capital Malaysia, and Associate Professor Dr. Putri Aina binti Menggat Amir Nurdin from Al-Madinah University, Malaysia. To guide us through this important discussion, we are honored to have Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Yazid Muhammad Isa from University Tun Abdul Razak as our moderator. Let's give a warm welcome to Professor Dr. Muhammad Yazid Muhammad Isa.
Assalamualaikum and welcome back from our lunch. Thank you for joining our third session this afternoon. I now have the privilege to invite my panelists, Mr. Omar Al-Haddad, Dr. Rizwan Bakar, and Madam Dwi Irianti, as well as Associate Professor Dr. Putri Aina to come on board. Thank you. Thank you again. And our session today, basically our title for the session number 3 here is about investment in Waqf back, or rather funded Waqf back assets investment. I would like to briefly introduce our panelists here. On my very right here is Madam Dwi Irianti Hadiniyah. Yes, who is a Director of Sharia Social Finance from Komite Nasional Ekonomi and Kewangan Syariah, or in other words is the National Commission for Islamic Economy and Finance. Basically, welcome Puan, thank you for joining us. Did you have a chance to visit the hall? Okay. This organization is a governmental under the Indonesian government that focus on developing and promoting the Islamic finance and economy sectors across functions like policy coordination, ecosystem development, as well as international collaboration. Yeah. Next on her right is Professor Dr. Rizwan Bakar, who is a Chief Executive Officer Yayasan Wakaf Malaysia, or the National Wakaf of Malaysia Foundation. It's a Malaysian government-established organization. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Rizwan, despite your busy schedule. The foundation focuses on managing and developing Waqf across functions like, I believe, asset development, as well as collaboration with the State Islamic Religious Council, because in Malaysia we have various State Islamic Religious Council, and also financial aspect in terms of managing of asset to generate investment returns. Welcome, Dr. Rizwan. And then we have industries expert, Mr. Omar Haddad from EQ8 Capital, Kenanga, Malaysia. Welcome, Mr. Omar. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Mr. Omar himself is executive director in this company. And the very end, on my right is none other than Associate Professor Dr. Putri Aina. Thank you, Dr. Putri Aina, for joining us. She's an Associate Professor with the University UNITA International, and as well as Al-Madinah International University. Thank you, Dr. Aina, for joining us. Okay. Now, I would like to start this session. Perhaps we will go around 2 rounds for each of the panelists, and then we go for the first round, second round, and then the third round we open to the audience to pose any question to any of you. And then for the fourth round, perhaps we just have a conclusion of any final remarks from each of you. Okay, we shall begin with Madam Dwi Irianti. Okay, basically for your case, since you are in the government of Indonesia, focusing on development and promoting of Islamic finance across various sectors, can you perhaps share your experience with respect to Indonesian itself? How do you engage with communities in Indonesia in order to ensure there is an alignment with the needs and with what you propose for them in terms of promoting of Islamic finance and banking, all those, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I think I have to extend my gratitude to Bank Indonesia, of course, with collaboration with WZWF for having me here. And talking about the development of Islamic finance or economic Sharia in Indonesia, I think government give lot of support, strong support on these things. For example, we start in 2008 when we see that development of Islamic banking is not good as we expect. Government give opportunity to issue suku. Why we issue suku? Because suku is one thing, the instrument that need by the banking, Islamic banking, to invest their idle money. And start on 2008, we issue suku, even though we start later than Malaysia, but now we already issue more than 1,800 trillion IDR, so around $200 billion, both in domestic and in global market. And Indonesia, the government also have many initiatives on this instrument, which is we issue green suku. It's considered as the first green suku in the world in terms of sovereign US dollar, not Malaysia. Malaysia issue for the corporate. We issue on the sovereign. And then we issue also for retail suku. I think it's very successfully until now. Even now we already issue green retail suku with online system. So make all society, including individu, can contribute to put their money and invest their money through the safe instrument, because that one is issued by the government. And the latest one, before cash wakafling suko, we also issue we call it suko for project financing. And from suko, we finance many infrastructures, especially for school building and also for university, so we can support and try to help people and to have a good what we call it the people who can get higher educations, especially for the Islamic university. All the Islamic university in Indonesia now supported by Suko, so they can develop their building, good facility for the students. Also, the latest, the current innovations is we call cash wakafling Suko. That's related with social fund, because we know that the potential for the wakaf is not only for the land or asset wakaf, but potential for cash wakaf in Indonesia, based on the research, is about 180 trillion per year IDR. But I think because still lack of literations, people still recognize when we talk about wakaf, they just think about three things: about mosque, masjid, and then for madrasah or school, and then for cemeteries. Then people in Indonesia, especially, they still lack informations about cash wakaf. But actually, the government already introduced cash wakaf since 2004 with what we call Wakaf Law number 41 2004. But I think we still have to do socialize, to do literacy about this cash wakafling suku, this wakaf, cash wakaf. So the government at the time, I'm still in Ministry of Finance, because I just joined in KNEKS in this institution 2 months ago. So previously, I am a director of Islamic financing in MOF, who have responsibility to issue suku. This purpose to issue cash wakafling suku, that's one of innovations to accelerate for wakaf. We already have individual investor about 1 billion people, investor. And they already know well about suku. That's the instruments, safe, and of course, that's Sharia compliance. So what we want to do is to grab that potential cash wakaf, 180 trillion, by introducing cash wakafling suku. Because cash wakaf, actually we can do for not permanent, but we can do for temporary. So it matches with the characteristic of suku. So when people already know about instrument suku retail, then easier for us, for the government, to introduce cash wakafling suku. The difference just when people do wakaf with a small amount, only 1 million IDR, so I think equal to 65 US dollar, we can do wakaf and temporary, 2 years. But we already do good things, what we call amal jariyah, right? And then the return of the suko will go to mawquf alai through nazir. Then what we have done now, already 5 years, we issue in retail, we can introduce more than 3,000 waqif, new waqif. So that's things that the government do for that.
Thank you, Madam. I'm going to come back to you later in the second session. Perhaps you can share some challenges then. But then we move to Dr. Rizwan for Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia or the Malaysian Waqaf Foundation. Perhaps Dr. Rizwan, you can share its role, Yayasan Waqaf, and I believe there are some strong governance in place there to ensure the purposes are met. Yeah.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Yaziz, the MC for today. The question was, what is the role of Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia? Yeah? Now, before I share with you the role of Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia, let me explain that Malaysia Waqaf frameworks is quite different compared to other countries. We have 14 wilayah, we have 14 states, and we have 9 sultans. And the Waqaf and Zakats is under direct supervision of the Sultan, entrusted to the Majlis Agama Islam Negeri or State Islamic Religious Council. That is the law. So what is the role of Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia? Now, Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia or Malaysia Waqaf Foundation is at federal level. For example, myself, I'm reporting to Minister of Religious Affairs. The policy of Waqaf and Zakat is under Jauhar, or in English we call it Department of Waqaf, Zakat and Hajj. And Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia's role is to execute the policy or the strategies that has been designed at federal level. So our role is to assist, basically to assist the SIRC or State Islamic Religious Council on matters pertaining to Waqaf. And second, to be a reference point on matters pertaining to Waqaf. And third, to connect Malaysia with other countries beyond ASEAN. Now, what is our role? We have 5 main roles. Number 1 is to collect cash Waqaf. Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia or Malaysia Waqaf Foundation cannot own asset. Any properties, landed properties, once constructed, must be surrendered to the state. I'll give you an example. We have a few hotels. We have 4 hotel Waqaf. And for example, one of the hotels is in the wilayah of Terengganu. Yeah, once the hotel is completed, we surrender that asset to the Islamic Religious Council, the wilayah of Terengganu. We don't own asset. Yeah, but we are the one who actually playing important role for cash collection. Number 1. Second is to invest that cash. The cash can be in itself, yeah, it's capital, or it can be non-capital after it is being invested, meaning that the beneficiaries goes back to the society. And on top of that, Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia also plays an important role as a center of reference, whereby we promote Waqaf advocacy, understanding of Waqaf among Malaysians. And part of this exercise is not easy, but requires a lot of efforts to ensure that the public understand what we are doing. Now, go back to the questions. What is the role on investment? We talk about investment, yeah? Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia has 2 roles in investment. Number 1 is for the property asset, physical asset investment. I give you an example just now, a few hotels. And Alhamdulillah, coming soon, we will have the first Waqf hospital in Johor, which we got financing, Islamic financing, about 200 million Malaysian ringgit. It's not public money, it's not government money, it's private entities relationship. And second, on top of asset properties, we also invest in financial instruments in the equity market, capital market, as well as money market. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Rizwan, on your take of your rules and governance, some features of governance that we observe with National Waqf Foundation. And interestingly, you mentioned about investment. So moving next to maybe Mr. Omar can take it. How is equity aid is into join with Sun Waqf itself on the investment vehicle, and I believe sharing and how is it sharing of 50-50 rather than 100%? I believe there are issues of why the preference is for capital asset instead of real estate. Yeah, Mr. Omar. Yes.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you for having me in this hall with the presence of all of your esteemed delegates. I think I'm just a mini creature here as compared to all your learned audience on the floor alongside my peers on the stage. I appreciate it. So the question is that how does investment jive with Waqf? So I think we were really inspired when we saw Indonesia did the cash Waqf link sukuk. This is a phenomenal product that's been put out there. I think, if my memory serves me right, this was in 2022. So there were engagements done with our regulators, because naturally, as the governing body, we want to be able to put in additional governance through capital market instrument, and solidifying Malaysia's initiative in this space. So the regulators had came up with a framework for funds. So it was extended to beyond sukuk. So we went into normal funds. And as you know, typical collective investment schemes are distributed through agents and intermediaries. So we felt that how could we make it more accessible to the general public without having to have an intermediary? So the best option was to list a product on the stock exchange. Now, so for that, it can't be a single stock product. So we needed to diversify. So an ETF, an exchange traded fund, which is similar to any collective investment scheme, was put up on, is going to be put up. We're going to be launched. Keep an eye out on the news, which inshallah will come within 2 or 3 months' time. So with the readiness of the framework by the regulators and the exchange, we were able to craft a product that is listed on the exchange where anyone could access with a trading account. You open a trading account with any of your broker of choice, and you trade this product on the exchange. Now, why a capital market product, right? So if you look at the behavioral of pattern of people who are involved in Waqf, you have two ends, extreme ends of the spectrum. On one end, where most of us Muslims are familiar with, is the dollar goes out, we put the money to Waqf, 100% lil abad, forever, right? So that's the most common thing that we are familiar with. On the other end of the spectrum, we were trying to bridge, to bring in how do we get normal investors to come into dual impact investing via a Waqf product. So, whereby the monies invested remains attributable to you. What you are giving up as Waqf is half of the dividends. So annually, when the product distributes dividends, half of it will be returned to the investor, which is what a typical investor would expect. And the other half, the additional dual impact investing, the 50% goes out to Yayasan Waqf Malaysia, which is the learned, the well-governed body that will be executing the Waqf projects. Now, why a capital market product, right? The added governance arising from the framework, the added governance from regulatory bodies. The conduct that we need to do as a listed product is equal to the conduct of any listed companies out there. So the governance, the audit committee, the board members, all the reporting, the daily announcements is up to the strictest form. So we could protect the sanctity of the product whilst at the same time flow the outputs, the dividends towards the Waqf administrators, in our case, Yayasan Waqaf Malaysia. So coming back to the 50-50 concept, you know, we have investors. I mean, ESG is the most talked about investment today, right? Social development goals. The onus on ESG is on the invested companies. So through a Waqf ETF, you have added an additional impact investing, whereby it's not just the companies are Sharia compliant, which has a very high correlation with being ESG companies. At the same time, you're able to apportion some of your returns to this. So we are entirely leaving the concept of dunya wal akhirah. So you do good in this world, and you do good and prepare yourself for the hereafter.
Thank you, Mr. Omar, for those take on investment. Now, let's say we continue with the investment topic by the two gentlemen here. We will have our Associate Professor Dr. Putri Aina taking on the investment topic still. Let's say for this investment, what kind of long-term strategy that can be maintained for taking that investment, and because we want to maintain the social impacts beyond the life of basically for purpose of social impact, it has to be continuously ongoing. But then perspective of investment, you can go on short term and exit from the market. So what's your take, Dr. Putri? To sustain the investment returns, on the other hand, there is a call for social returns to be continuously.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Aziz. My fellow friends here, welcome, and Datuk Ghazali and the team, organizing team, thank you very much for inviting me. Yeah, right. Talking about sustainability and how it relates from investment towards social impact. Okay, how do we make sure that the social impact prolongs long term? Okay. The issue I've been looking at right now is through my case study. Yeah, I'm a business person for 30 years, and only then I joined the academic world. So my perspective comes from business mindset, but in relation to how academic look at things in a longer run. Okay, discussing about this. Thailand has invited us to do a research on the whole township in Patani Jaya. They want us to look at how they can sustain the township all through Waqf. So I think some of you from countries like Nigeria, countries like Liberia, you want to learn that. You want to establish a whole township through Waqf because you have lands. How do you do that? Okay, so that's where I come in. Okay, and I was looking at certain models of sustainability. I went to Morocco and I went to Fes. Yeah, they have a university, the longest serving university in Fes, Karawatin, I think. It was established in 859. The year 859. That is like 1,000 over years ago. And it is still a university till now, through Waqf. And then we went to Greece and look at the Islamic Foundation, Waqf Foundation in Greece. And when we had the discussion there, we found out that a lot of the Muslim community in Greece already migrated out because of the instability of the country. And when I observed that, I found that Waqf lands, there's no people to manage it. There's no investment. Muslims are already out. So who's going to govern it? The government took over. And the Waqf lands in Greece has been there from the Ottoman time, the era, long time ago. And now it is diminishing. So when we look at two countries, Greece, the Waqf land, it's not there, it's diminishing. And look at Morocco, the university. It is sustaining till now. How does it work? How does it work? Okay, and it's contributing the social impact, right? So when I look at, again, Patani Jaya Township in Thailand, I saw that they are running it through smart partnership. Okay, how they did it? The land was given from the government to Photani University to run it. It is about 400 acres of land. Photani University got funds. For example, I'll read here. The Islamic Center is donated by Arab Saudi government. The hospitals were from Qatar government. ASEAN Sports Center, Turkey government. Halal Industry Park from Kuwait. And they have this commercial and residential development. It's run by sort of cooperatives, different entities that comes in, yeah? So they have this collaboration, smart partnership with them, but then how do they commercialize it? How do they invest the Waqf money, right? So what they did is they engage administrators, the management group, Mutawali, all these Islamic entities to govern, to manage, and to control. Yeah, that is the key word there. If we don't have that, then it doesn't sustain. And we have to have the idea of helping each other with the smart partnership. So they engage Madinah Salam Foundation to run 200 acres is given to commercialization. Another 200 is for healthcare, the hospitals, the education, the schools, the Islamic Center. Yeah. So Madinah Salam Foundation is to manage it. And then they form a smart partnership with ASEAN Mall from Unity Group from Malaysia to run the ASEAN Mall in Thailand. What they did was, ASEAN Mall, they collaborate with, for example, entrepreneurs from Malaysia, joint venture with them to bring the products from Malaysia to there. And they partner with the suppliers, wholesalers. They are the sugar wholesalers there. Yeah, they partners with all the suppliers in Thailand to get the cheapest rate. Yeah. From the whole structure of distribution of work through smart partnership, they were able to invest. So ASEAN Mall, Unity Group, what they did is, okay, they have 3 types of package. The first package is fully Waqf. So who wants to donate? Fully Waqf. The second one is who wants to invest? Purely investment. So they will do certain investment and provide the dividends. The third package is mixed mode. You can invest a portion of it, you can Waqf. A portion of it can be distributed for commercialization. And another portion is to the distribution of welfare. When we have the whole partnership run, they have 30 years to run. and the land is given back. And then they will decide who to manage it again after 30 years. That is how they prolong sustainability through it. Yeah, that's my point of view. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Putri. Now, coming back to Puan, just now during the first session, you mentioned some challenges in terms of creating awareness among the Ummah. But then there are also some emerging regulatory issues such as differing interpretations, differing Sharia compliance. How has that been addressed in order to maintain standardization when you roll out any Islamic programs, and you can also ensure that there is enough trust and attract participation from the public? How is this done within Indonesia?
Yeah, when we talk about the Sharia or Islamic instruments, of course, we have to make people understand first to make them trust, right? It's not that easy because as we know that Indonesia start issuing what we call conventional bond. So they already know conventional bond. So when we start to introduce Sharia instruments, there are many questions from people. Is it already comply with Sharia? But what we have done until now even, we have collaborations closely with DSN MUI, which is Indonesian Sharia Board. And it's mandated by Sukuk law. Every single issuance, we have to discuss with them, and we need fatwa, and we already have a fatwa. And every single issuance, we need a Sharia opinion or endorsement. Also for the in domestic issuance as well as in global issuance, we also ask for Sharia opinion from Sharia scholars to endorse our structure. Now we have 4 structures for our sukuk, which is Ijaroh Asset to be leased, Ijaroh Sell and Leaseback, Wakalah, and Ijaroh Al-Khadamat. So but people actually, they don't aware and they don't want to know the detail of the structure. But once they got the opinion, they look at there is already an opinion from the DSN, they will believe and they will trust. We also approach people to buy suku and the other Islamic instrument by giving socializations, of course, and then give trust by pay all of not interest, all return and the original in the time that we promise, okay, and that's what we do. But in case of cash wakaf link suku, because we talk about wakaf today, even though there's the same as suku instrument in our perspective as issuer, but people still think that, in my opinion, I saw that people, they think wakaf is good only for one times a life. Why I have the conclusion like that? Because we already issue cash wakaf link suku 5 times, 5 years, but every single issuer, we just have almost 80 to 90% is new investors. It means repeat buying is very small. So people only think, when I just ask, I have a professor, and I ask, I know that she bought for the first cash wakaf link suku, and then I ask, Did you buy for the second one? No, that's enough one's life. That's they believe. So what we have to do is we have to do collaborations with all stakeholders like Nazir and then ulama and then I think from Ministry of Religions we have the director of Zakat and Wakaf, Prof. Waryono here. He already introduced what we call Kota Wakaf, right? Kota Wakaf I think is a good thing to introduce and give understanding to the people that wakaf is a good thing, that now people have choice to do wakaf, no need to be rich first, no need to be old, they can start from now. And Alhamdulillah, from the data, we found many young people, including Z generations, they already involved in cash wakaf link suku. So it is a good thing. But still homework for us, because compared to the suku retail, that commercial one, that's still small. Because we already have 1 million investor for the commercial, but for cash wakaf link suku, investor now reach for 3,000, so still lack for that.
Thank you, Madam. Now, still on the investment and trying to make it more attractive, Dr. Rizwan, what's your take? Let's say, are we going to encourage and to ensure from private sectors, those businesses, private sectors who are going to invest in Waqf-based investment, the purpose remain aligned with the social and religious objective, rather than for them is profit oriented. How can we sustain these purposes so that their motive align with their motive of profit driven is aligned with the social and religious objective when they invest in Waqf? Yeah, what's your take, Dr. Rizwan?
Okay, thank you, Prof. Aziz. Now, in my opinion, we cannot rely entirely on the government to support the Waqf development. Therefore, participation from private sector, when we talk about Malaysia, we talk about Waqf corporate, is very crucial, important, because the big chunk of the fund may come from them. The only problem that I face, that Yayasan Waqf Malaysia face, is the understanding of the corporate sector, the private sector, the difference between CSR and Waqf. Because to private sector, they have allocation for annual budget for CSR. And part of them they contributed into Waqf fund, which is, in our opinion, is not correct. Waqf is Waqf, CSR is CSR. So why we need to mix between these two? This is the first thing that we need to resolve. And second, we'll have to look into the investment policy itself, whether the investment policy provides good returns. Of course, this private sector, not only private sector, even individual, when we invest, we expect high returns. But we need to educate them that high returns is not only in this perishable world, but returns of the akhirah, the return on akhirat investment. This is what we need to educate them. Yeah. And one good thing about Malaysia, those who invest or put money in the Waqf, they can claim 10% of the tax deductions, yeah, from their contribution within the context of the, what we call this allowable taxable relief. So in order to support this idea, yeah, that's why we work together with good institution, credible institution like EQ8, yeah, to introduce the Waqf ETF by means of contributing into not only profit to those who invested, but also part of the profits can go back to the community. It's a social work. So we have already identified, even in our prospectus, we want to focus the benefit of this investment into four sectors, yeah? For example, healthcare, education, food security, as well as other, what I call these religious kind of benefits. So in short, to answer Prof. Yazid's question, how we balance this is all go back to the intention of the investors, number one. Second, we need to have a proper documentation, the akad or the sirah of the investment. In other words, those who invest in, for example, in our Waqf ETF, they need to understand that they not only gain from profit, but also for the contribution for their akhirat and develop the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rizwan. Going next to Mr. Omar, this just now in the first round you mentioned about the sharing of 50-50. Perhaps Mr. Omar, you can share is there any risk management protocols in place at EQ8 to ensure that the yields achieve the gains so that you are able to achieve that 50-50 and able to share the dividends here? Is there any risk management protocols in place? Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, with any capital market product, the risk management protocols are very, very strict. I'm trying not to get too technical here. The Waqf ETF that we are rolling out has a passive strategy. Okay. The reason why as opposed to an active strategy, whereby there's a fund manager who has a view. You know, I believe this company is profitable, therefore I'm going to invest in it. Puan may have a different view and she may not. So that's active management. But when it comes to a passive management product, all the rules have been preset from the time the product was incorporated. So with a very, no emotions, purely data driven, because we need a product that declares dividend regularly. Because the dividends will be the one that will be passed to Yayasan Waqf, the 50% as Waqf assets. So a lot of filtrations were placed. You know, these are high dividend companies with great momentum, with consistently been declaring dividend, and due to with 30 different companies for diversification as well. So we are not just putting all eggs in one basket, or even 5. So the diversification is across 30 companies. So the fact that it's passively managed, rule-based, with no emotions, these constituents will evolve over time. So a company may have a strong momentum for the past 5 years. The instant that the data shows that their performance has been dwindling, their dividend patterns have been decreasing, they will be removed from the constituents. So it's always the top 30 with the preset rules will remain in the investment universe. Now, in the terms of sustainability, it does not matter whether I still exist today or I move on to the next life, Allahu Alam, that this product will conduct itself in that consistent manner. So therein lies the element of sustainability. For risk management in terms of the governance of the product, the reporting that we have to do, just like every listed company as mentioned earlier. Also, when the projects have been executed by Yayasan Waqf, we will be providing reports to all investors of where that they would have seen the impact of their participation. So there is a lot of value in providing that report. And Yayasan Waqf, being an organization with very strict governance, have stellar reporting that we latch onto. So that is really out of our realm. We're not going to act as though we know what to do. So we take on this report, and when we report our annual financial report of the fund, it will be accompanied by where the executed funds have gone to. So all these things in terms of governance, in terms of efficiency, in terms of sustainability, in terms of risk management of the constituents is all enshrined from the day it goes out the door when the product is listed.
Thank you, Mr. Omar, for that very comprehensive take on the risk management. Dr. Putri, I'm going to ask you to take this note on digital economy and how these issues of digital economy, the emerging trends, those pose challenges as well as opportunities to both the regulators and the industry players. How's that going to affect these two players? What's your take?
Okay, thank you. Talking about regulators and investment people here, yeah, I just want to share a personal experience, yeah, with my grandmother. My grandmother had some assets and cash to Waqf. So we went to the Waqf institution to Waqf the money and some assets, and I asked them, what are you going to do with my grandma's money? How are you going to invest my grandma's money? What is the progression of the investment once my grandma is no longer there? I want to see the long-term effect. And unfortunately, I didn't get a good response from there. I took back the money home, okay? The reason because the transparency is not there, okay? So nowadays, not only looking at my grandmother, I'm looking at my children and my grandchildren. How would they waqaf their assets, their money? Okay? Through surely about digitalization now and also the next generation. Okay? The problem is not whether there are people to waqaf. I think most of you, when you get older, you do have assets that you want to waqaf. You do have cash that you want to waqaf. But the problem is, do you know where the money goes? How does the waqaf regulators invest your money? So that is the question. That is my question when I want to waqaf my money. Yeah. So the thing is, we need to. I talk about smart partnership just now. So now I'm talking about smart contracts. Okay, a lot of the technology now, they have these smart contracts. For example, blockchain. How does it work? So I was very fascinated about it because I want to waqaf my money. I want to invest. Okay? I want a joint venture with my waqaf. I want to partner using my waqaf. Yeah? But how do I know I can see where my money goes? So when I found out, I did my thesis about blockchain technology on corporate waqaf. So what I found out is that smart contracts, the whole system, it is linked together, blocks that links together into a chain. So once that is trackable, I know where my money goes and it's very transparent. So the donors would invest and they will see where is the investment goes to. And who is the contractor, who is the builder, who is the insurance company. I would see the whole structure in the platform. Okay, and I would know if, let's say, I want to waqaf my grandma's money to build a supermarket. And the money is invested through other means of investment. I would see it in the whole smart contract system. And because of that, and also the young generations, they want to see where the money goes. They are very smart generation, very learned generation. So they will see the whole thing there. And with smart contracts, you can influence other people to invest because it's very clear, transparent, it's secured, it is scalable. Yeah, it's just which smart contracts that you want to take into for your waqaf. Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
that's my idea. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Aina. Okay, we now shall open. You guys not going to let these panelists go off. So we invite the audience to post them question, and please identify yourself if you have any question. Yeah, we have one gentleman over here. Can we pass the mic to him?
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Chair. If you don't mind, I have one question each to these eminent speakers. Number one, from Madam Dwi Rianti. Can you share with us the experience of approving sukuk? How long does it take on average in Indonesia? What are the problems you foresee that sukuk being given to whoever requests for sukuk? You understand me?
Can you be not clear?
Yeah, I would like to share. I'd like you to share with us how long issuing the sukuk from various agencies that apply to your agencies. What are the obstacles? What's your advice? That's to Madam. Thank you, Madam. Number two, to Dr. Rizwan. Can you share with us how do you foresee or see crowdfunding through various agencies or experience in Malaysia or any parts of the world? And the second question, is there possibility of working together, Yayasan Waqf and Wasiat agency? Because I see there's a lot of what we call losses in Wasiat that can be invested in Waqf. To the question to Mr. Haddad, how do you foresee investing in metallic substances like gold and platinum for Waqf money or that matter? And last but not least, for Professor Putri Aina, the joint collaboration efforts, the SDG 17, for example, where else can what call Waqf agencies work in collaborative effort with other agencies? Can you highlight some other experiences that may be a successful story? Thank you.
Thank you. I would like Madam to take.
Thank you for the questions, sir. About suku in Indonesia, actually we issue since 2008, we have 3 methods. First, we do with through auctions. Every 2 weeks, we do auctions in domestic market. And also for the book building we issue both domestic and global. And then for domestic, we issue for the retail. And the third one is private placement. About the period, how long we have to prepare to issue, for the auctions, there is no issue, because every 2 weeks, we already have a system that we just announced a week before that we will issue this series. We have benchmark series that we will issue. So we have appoint what we call PDs, primary dealers. So they know the calendars, calendar of issuance. They just want to see every week before prior the issuance about the series. So no issues.
Thank you.
But for the I think the important things is for the book building methods, which is we issue in the global. The globally, of course, we have to appoint what we call joint lead manager, with joint lead manager, and also for the legal. For the legal consultant, they will see and do due diligence for the asset, because for sukuk we need underlying asset. The challenge actually is the market conditions. For example, we have to wait until the market is friendly for us. So we have to watch every single year, every single day, even every single hours. if we want to get the yield that are good things. And in domestic, the challenge actually, because compared to the conventional bond, we still for the liquidity is still less than conventional. So sometimes they need to ask for the liquidity premium, but now it's not as big as before.
Okay. Thank you, Puan. Now, Dr. Rizwan on his question, potential collaboration, I believe. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Hassan and all the audience, I think there are two questions. One pertaining to crowdfunding and the other one on wasiat. Now, I'll share with you my experience. When we all out doing crowdfunding, it's not easy to get cash. It's not easy to get cash because yesterday I shared that we are competing with NGOs. In Malaysia, there are about more than 80,000 NGOs. We are competing. Now, what is the difference between Waqf institution and all these NGOs? Waqf institution, we look at long term. We want to develop assets. An asset cannot be established in 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. It can be 2 years minimum. To establish one hospital, Waqf hospital in Malaysia, I need at least 2 years in order to construct and make it happen. But for NGOs, they can immediately implement small projects. That's why we are competing with the NGOs. I'll give you an example. When we raise funds for Palestine, the Gaza, and the Musa'adah Jakim, within 1 month, we can get 12 million Malaysian ringgit. 12 million ringgit. So now we feel that there is sentiment when we want to do crowdfunding. Protections of disaster, for example. When we face disaster, or when we face, for example, the case of Palestinians, people are willing to give money immediately. So there is difference between helping, rescuing someone, or in other countries, compared to development of Waqf, people still prefer to help for the Palestinian disasters. That's on crowdfunding. On the wasiat, basically, Yayasan Waqf Malaysia, we have product by the name of Waqf Takaful. Under Waqf Takaful, we advise our subscribers to put some kind of Waqf in the agreement. When they subscribe to the product, in the sirah of the document, it is clearly stated that part of the investment in case of death will be given to Yayasan Waqf Malaysia as cash Waqf. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rizwan. Mr. Omar, on your take of issuance metallics, I believe, his question just now.
I think the question was in relation to whether a gold as an asset class. Look, the bigger question would be this. The market, the bodies, the key participants in the market is how ready are they to explore Waqf assets beyond real estate, beyond fixed deposits. That's all the question is to be asked. Even Waqf ETF for that matter, a cash Waqf linked sukuk is how ready is the market to shift, because we are so comfortable today. A lot of our bodies are very comfortable with real estate, they are very comfortable with fixed deposit. Now, with innovation, we've been taught by our ustaz, our scholars, that you don't jump into something heavily. When you want to increase your sunnah prayers, it's like taking honey, you take bit by bit by bit. You don't take a big gulp of the honey. So until such time that we are ready to embark onto this journey, which I encourage a lot of you parties attending here to take that move, to just try into these investable assets. Experience the efficiency of it. Take note of the governance that it provides. Now, specifically to your question, I will not ignore that. On gold, I would not recommend something of such because it's not enough diversification. That is just one component. Like in our product, for example, we have 30 companies that we are regularly rebalancing it and diversifying it. So even if you expand it to just precious metals, precious instruments, it's just not enough over there. So I personally would not encourage to go that way. as purely on the pretext of diversification. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Omar. Dr. Putri, your take on the alignment on SDG 17.
Yes, collaborative, yeah?
Yeah.
Collaborative, yeah. Again, I want to share my experience. It's easy to communicate that way, yeah? There's one company, Finterra. I think some of you know this company is a blockchain technology company, and they go into plantation, okay? They were able to get, in a very short span of time, they were able to get donations, millions of donations, yeah? How do they do that, yeah? One is that they have this so-called muzara'ah method in Islamic finance, okay, where they partner with the landowners, and they partner with the farmers, they partner with the land developer, and they partner with the investors, okay. So in Malaysia, the Waqf landowners are there, but mostly in the rural area where there's no commercialization available. They were able to build like a rubber wood plantation. And they connect with Saim Darby, which is a land developer, yeah, renowned land developer in Malaysia. And also they were able to get the investors because of the smart contract. So the investors could see everything through the contracts between all parties, yeah. And they also have this, what they call As-Salam method, Islamic finance method, where they are able to secure the agriculture land future development, but to get the investment now, paid now, because the bias is already there. It's already certain. They know how much is the investment and what is the outcome, what is the dividend. They already know, yeah. And they were able to speculate how much dividend that they could give because of the stability of buyers who already signed the agreement. And they also have third-party guarantor from the farmers. So if we invest and our principal money is maintained there, and there's a third-party security, a lot of investors would want to go there.
Yeah.
So that is another example that I can give about collaborative.
Thank you, Dr. Putri. Now, quickly, just perhaps less than 1 minute for each of you to just sum up the topic here from Madam. What would you just sum up in one minute? What would you say?
Yeah, I think for innovations to make Waqf more productive, I think as we already issue in Indonesia, cash Waqf link sukuk, followed by cash Waqf link deposit, I think the instruments already there, but the homework is we have to collaborate all the stakeholders to do together to make it our dream come true,
Thank
to
you.
make Waqf more productive.
Dr. Rizwan, what's your take?
I have to advise.
Yeah.
When we talk about investment, we must first develop trust. Trust among investors and issuers of that particular instrument. And second, we need to work in a team, collaborative, regardless of, there's no border in investment, yeah? We can cross border, Malaysia, Indonesia, or Malaysia with other countries in the world. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Omar, next, what's your take in perhaps to conclude this topic on investment-based innovative models?
Yeah, I mean, from coming from the financial sector, I think is wherever you are in your markets, engage your regulators, come up with frameworks, make it work, make it really appealing. Protect the sanctity of the product, protect the sanctity of our religion and our faith. And I think, nature, God, inshallah, Allah will be on your side and your path will be easy.
Thank you, Mr. Omar. Dr. Putri,
Yeah.
in 1 minute.
Yes. I read this book yesterday, yeah, from Mr. Zainul Abidin from South Africa. And I was intrigued. One of the articles inside this mentioned about we have to balance between devotion to to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, and also rationality. So I talk about smart partnership and also smart contracts. We have to know whether we are doing wakaf based on devotion to our company or to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. A lot of you are coming here because of your organizations, yeah. But are we doing the wakaf to the company or to Allah? So to make smart contracts and smart partnership and collaborative partnership, it has to come with devotion to Allah.
Thank
Only
you
then
very
it will
much
happen.
to all the panelists. So you guys have heard. So we thank you to the audience as well, panelists. With that, we conclude our session, and thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
A heartfelt thank you to Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad
Thank you
Yazid
very
Muhammad
much.
Isa and our panelists for organizing through such important session. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay on the stage, and I would like to invite Haji Abdul Fattah MBA, Kasubdit Perizinan dan Evaluasi Lembaga Zakat dan Wakaf, Direktorat Pemberdayaan Zakat dan Wakaf, Kementerian Agama Republik Indonesia, to deliver the tokens of appreciation to our esteemed speakers and moderator. To our photographers, please take your position and we'll have the photo session. Okay, we can start the photo session for 1, 2, 3. Once more, 1, 2, 3. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You can back to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, our next session, plenary session 4, will dive into the theme Borderless Philanthropy, Forging a Global Wakaf and Zakat Network for Transformative Impact Beyond the 21st Century. In an increasingly interconnected world, the potential for collaboration in Zakat and Wakaf initiative is immense. And allow me to introduce our finalists today, Datuk Dr. Muhammad Ghazali bin Muhammad Nur, the Secretary General of WZWF.